Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this particular video, I'd like to discuss my thoughts on episode 6 of the anime series Coppelion. I found this to be quite an interesting and action-packed episode, as our main trio, Ibara, Aoi, and Taiko, respectively, are still contained within this retreat called the Planet, the former JASA or JASA environment where all of these scientific studies and everything have been carried out, and a small group of people has been hiding out within this fallout old capital of Japan. Now, essentially, an alarm goes off, and it signals that there is an intruder potentially trying to enter the fray. And immediately I assumed that this was going to be Haruto, who is introduced later as the cleanup crew who was sent to go make, sort of a meeting with Ibara and her Coppelion unit. And in fact, Aoi gets very impetuous and very excited, thinking in terms of that this is actually the wolf that has been following them, that Taiko had made a rapport with previously and has seemingly followed their scent all along from point A to point B as they've been traveling within this entire area of the city. But in fact, as she goes out and Ibara comes to investigate, we find out that Aoi has been taken captive by the First Division, the ghosts of the First Division as they were debuted in the previous episode, and it seems that they have certain demands. They want what seems at first to be this group of people who are hiding out within the planet to join them without questions, obediently and everything like that. But in fact, Ibara realizes, no, they want the Coppelion unit for some reason, for some nefarious purpose. And the question is, well, what are they up to? What is this First Division up to if they want the girls from Coppelion? So essentially, of course, you have them retreating with Aoi, and they return, of course, promptly to their own hideout. You have this great moment where the foreman, Kurobe, basically tells Ibara, we're going to go after her. I'm going to help you. And they decide to go to this park where the First Division has their hideout. They see that Aoi is being led around, she's sort of handcuffed in chains, and Ibara, using that same level of impetuousness, unfortunately not using strategy, she just jumps out of the bushes and holds a gun to the leader of this First Division's head and says, give me my friend back, let her go. And so we have this guy who, again, if you've noticed his mask, one of the little sort of goggles on his mask has no glass in it. And it begs the question, what exactly is going on with this guy? I started to suspect, is he a Coppelion himself that has been maybe one of the first wave ever created, and that's why he's able to survive in this fallout radiation? But one of his guys ends up attacking Ibara, knocking her out, needing the intervention of Haruto, who has finally caught up to them and throws, a grenade into the hideout to basically destroy it, making it so that the First Division will have to move eventually. And they all get out of there with the exception of rescuing Aoi, who is still very much captive, although it seems like she's biding her time relatively well. Between screaming, giving her, rice balls for lunch, and she's, of course, a very big fan of food and loves eating the rice balls, so that's somewhat comical given her very sort of precarious position. But once everybody gets back together again, they realize with Haruto's help that they're going to be on the move. This First Division has no choice now. They have to find somewhere else to go. As it turns out, though, they're not simply moving to an alternate location to keep as a hideout, but they're going back to whatever the mission is that they wanted to capture these Coppelion girls for, which ends up being this water treatment plant, which essentially has all of these giant gallon tubs of the waste, as was found in another previous location in a previous episode by Ibara and her Coppelion unit. The question is, what is this First Division up to? Why are they picking these out of the water? Were they the ones who put them there? Is there some as yet to be revealed use that they're making out of these? It's a big question, a big WTF as to why these people, these human beings, don't care about their own well-being, don't care about their death. It's like madness has spread among them. And of course, you have one potential revelation that actually may relate to the situation in the form of a train that was basically immobilized because of the hydroelectric power wiring somewhere along the lines has broken, and they need to repair it. But unfortunately, the area in question is one of those caked in just tremendous fallout. So I'm assuming we'll pay back on this later with maybe the girls from the Coppelion unit if they're able to get out of this scrap, this situation, will probably help the people who are surviving there and don't want to be rescued, don't want to be taken out of their home, to get this train up and running again, as this was where they were getting their supplies from, their food, their clean water, and everything like that, to exist within the planet and other, surviving areas. May this relate to whatever the First Division is up to? It is a question that begs to be asked, and essentially you have all of these people coming together to try once again to overthrow the First Division and save AOE. You have Ibarra just running into this situation very haphazardly and getting herself nearly killed. This guy removes his mask, the leader of the First Division, once AOE has been seemingly rescued by, of course, the foreman Kurobe and Haruto, respectively. He removes that mask, and you see that his face is disintegrating away. The fallout, the radiation is eating away at his body, at his mind, and he's just lost it. He has no concept of life or death anymore. They're just sort of existing, on instinct and everything like that. And you have this touching moment almost where Ibarra's like, oh, well, you do still have human eyes. I can appeal to your better nature. But of course, that isn't the case. This guy orders one of his own tanks to fire on them, vaporizing himself and seemingly severely wounding, if not killing, Ibarra in the end. So, of course, that is where we leave off, as this horrific revelation comes to the fore in Haruto's mind. He is standing there, mouth agape. He can't believe what he's just witnessed, and there is the sort of seemingly lifeless, maybe unconscious body of Ibarra sitting next to the fires that have escaped in this explosion. And as we prompt headlong into the next episode, it seems that Haruto will be at least, at the fore as far as he is the one we're going to be really studying and understanding his concept of things. It was very interesting to have it revealed, as I speculated in my previous episode discussion video, that he was a cleanup crew in the sense that he's in there to kill the people who are a threat, whereas Ibarra and her Coppelion unit are there to help and save and rescue people. This guy is there to silence and put to rest any who aren't going to go willingly, any who are up to nefarious purposes. And it's going to be really interesting to see things through his perspective after we've been following the much more righteous, in a sense, and much more moralistic values of the Coppelion girls themselves. So I'd love to hear from you guys what you thought of episode 6 of Coppelion. If you've seen it, I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. And otherwise, that'll be it for me. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.